it off. Excuse me. Spray it. Don't or say it. Don't spray it, Scotty. But it's time. It's time to move on. We've talked about the divisional round. We talked about Super Bowl predictions. We are cooking. And next, we got to talk about something big. It's going to be probably more brief than I initially anticipated, but this is the fact that the New York Giants have hired John Harbaugh to be their coach. And what a monumental moment. I mean, oh my God, this is like the most important decision that a franchise can
He's
really
saying he
make.
wanted 20 mil.
20 mil, 5 years, 100 mil total, 20 mil a year. He's going to have a big budget to get his assistant coaches, probably have a lot of control over the draft and all that kind of stuff. But Joe Shane is to remain, which is something I really did not want. Looks like they'll probably let him ride out that last year of that contract, see what happens from there after John Harbaugh gets to work with him for a year. So now in the NFC East, you have John Harbaugh, Nick Sirianni, Dan Quinn, and Brian Schottenheimer. Good argument Harbaugh might be the best guy there. I think him and Sirianni's pretty close. But anyway, how do I feel about this as a Giants fan? Well, I came out with a video actually a few days ago saying how I actually kind of didn't want this. I didn't want John Harbaugh. And I'll admit, I really did not do a great job of explaining why. I tried doing it the same day, and my preparation was lacking. That's not the case this time. Let me tell you guys why I was standoffish on John Harbaugh. First of all, I thought it would keep Joe Shane here. I simply do not think that's what's best for this organization. Now, do I kind of think he's going to get him out of there? Yeah. So I've grown more okay with that. Or he will bring the best out of Joe Shane, and Joe Shane just kind of follows his lead,
Yeah,
and
I
it
feel like he's
works.
gonna take the reins away from Joe Shane. He's gonna be like, dude, I got it. Like,
Right. And at that point, you might as well just switch to someone else that you like, and you don't have to restrict, someone you trust. I feel like Joe Shane is doing this. He's going along with it because he feels like it could save his job, maybe. Like I don't hate the guy. I don't personally want him, the person, to get fired. You know what I mean? I just think for the Giants, we can do better. But hey, maybe that's not the case. So why else did I feel this way? That I didn't think this was as an amazing idea as everybody else did? Well, I did understand where the Giants were at. The Giants are chaotic. A lot of people making the argument that the Giants need this stability of a guy like Harbaugh, a retreaded coach, who's proven what he can do and is now open for a new job. Can kind of drain the swamp of New York, and all the guys who shouldn't be in the positions that they are, and put people he trusts in there, and that is important for the Giants. I understand that, but ultimately, the reason I pushed back on this is because sort of a collection of points here. First of all, his age. He's 63. We signed him to a 5-year contract. He'll be almost 70 years old at the end of that contract. If it works out, we'd be extending him. Still, you're probably only getting no more than 10 years. I can't see him coaching longer than Pete Carroll at 73. So 10 years with Dart, that's pretty good. I'll say 10 years is pretty good. Are we sure the last 10 years of his career with a brand new team that he didn't inherit a Hall of Fame defense is going to be better? Because I hear a lot of people calling the Giants contenders after this hire, and they really need to relax. It's actually getting on my nerves how excited people are getting about this. John Harbaugh inherited the Ravens, won a Super Bowl, went like 180 and 118 across his career. But since that Super Bowl in 2012 with Flacco, he had Lamar. He's assembled the staffs and the rosters. And we've seen not only Lamar and the players come up sloppy, poor decision making too, abandoning game plans, decisions like that don't make sense, costing them an AFC Championship game versus the Chiefs.
Yep.
And people talk about the blown double digit leads and all that kind of stuff. It's
I just wonder what does it look for Lamar this year running under somebody else.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious to see what happens in Baltimore. That's the best landing spot for a coach. If I'm someone, I'm going there, no question. But ultimately, my point is, it was never all Harbaugh's fault that they would lose those games. But the way it would consistently happen the same way was bothersome. And seeing it this year looked even worse. Now, did that just go stale in Baltimore? Maybe. Maybe the change of scenery can get him a little bit more dialed in. And I've heard some people say, oh, well, he's played for a long time. You have to be really good to play that long. And, and have those outcomes. And I'm like, I don't really feel like I've heard even Bobby Skinner. He's very big on John Harbaugh. I love Bobby Skinner. But I just, it doesn't sound right to me that he has a league average rate of blowing games. Doesn't sound right to me. Certainly doesn't seem like that. Because of, I think it was 2022 and 2023, like the Dolphins and Tyreek, that was a hideous one.
That was crazy.
The way they've come out in the playoffs and like the Bills game last year, like how did you not win that game with that Ravens team? You know what I mean? They like outgained and out first downed and like I think they almost out time a possession that maybe the Bills won that. They should have won that game. They had like 3 turnovers and almost won because of a dropped pass. Is that John Harbaugh's fault? Not directly, but you were still kind of juggling the likely Andrews thing, and Andrews had a car accident before the season and clearly was not right that year. I'm not saying they should have taken him out or anything. It's just you're also helping the GM managing the roster. You're responsible for everything at that point. And it was just so disappointing. And I'm thinking, well, that's the Ravens. You have to successfully clean house on the Giants, right? Add a couple pieces to the roster, hit on those pieces, and then in the NFC East with a Cowboys team that is loaded with picks and a future, an Eagles team that is currently interviewing Brian Dable, which we'll get to, and a Commanders team that is surely due to positively regress next year and already has their quarterback. This is a lot of stuff that has to go right.
Especially after getting rid of Kingsbury, bro. Kingsbury was not the problem, bro.
Yeah, well, I feel like he kind of expired in Arizona too, but they are actually, I think the Giants probably might be in better position than them, but overall, my point is this is a lot of stuff that's got to go right. I believe Jackson Dart. I totally believe him, but didn't we all believe in Lamar too? Like, I'm really not trying to, like, I've heard the phrase, pour water on the fire. Guys, I get it. I am excited that the Giants' floor is indefinitely raised. But I feel this is... We missed an opportunity to pair a young offensive mind with Dart for his whole career. And make sure he never loses an offensive coordinator. That's the best future. That's the best future. Keeping the offensive mind with the quarterback. Or the CEO. Harbaugh's out of his prime. So I came out and said all that stuff, did a terrible job explaining it all. Now I've explained it better. A few days go by. My favorite YouTuber, That Franchise Guy, does his video on the coaching carousel, and you should all subscribe to That Franchise Guy. I'll link him in the description. His analysis is unmatched, and he's a huge inspiration to me in doing football on YouTube. And at least with my current, status of life, I cannot keep up with this man. He's unstoppable. He made a tier list for the head coaches. It's very interesting because it very much kind of lines up with the philosophy I have about pairing him up with a young coach. This is That Franchise Guy's tier list. He has hard pass on Mike McCarthy, someone with a very similar resume to John Harbaugh. And then retreads, I'd rather not. This is your Harbaughs, Kingsburys, Matt Nagy, Stefanski, Vance Joseph, Arthur Smith, all former head coaches. Why would he rather not? Well, you've got coaches that he's intrigued in, guys like Todd Monken, coordinators mostly, and same thing in good coordinators like Clint Kubiak, Jeff Hafley, Aiden Durd, Mike McDaniel. That's probably one of the best ones. And then Robert Saleh, We see what he's doing with the 49ers. And then great Krishula, Brian Flores. I think we all know he's really good. And then the Chargers DC, Jesse Minter at great. Why are all these young,
Is it
unproven?
me? Is Brian Dable not on this list?
I don't know why he's not on the list. Maybe he forgot or he's like already. I think it came out before he knew he was interviewing because it was like recorded this Thursday morning. But yeah, maybe he just kind of missed out on that. But regardless, the fact that he had the retreads and he'd rather not, he went into a very good and summarized explanation of the worst thing that can happen is what you have with Jalen Hurts, where you have a mid CEO coach and a rotating door at OC, and DC, you're lucky to have that locked down with Fangio, because if it wasn't for him, you'd have a rotating door there too.
You know,
And
he was an old Forge guy.
really, Fangio's an old Forge guy. No
Yes,
way.
he is.
That's pretty sick. I actually
That
love
is-
that. That was a great fun fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Lamar with Roman, Todd Monken an upgrade, but then you lose Mike McDonald. You know what I mean? The CEO coach type is like, it only works if you have Tom Brady and you're Bill Belichick. You know what I mean? Like, where else has it really like been that successful besides the Eagles? You know, and I think we're pretty far away from starting off with what Hurts started off with. So it's just like we are really trying to thread a needle here, and the reason I'd rather not is because if it doesn't work immediately, like you kind of waste 5 years, the 5 most important years of Dart's career, instead of
Yep.
pairing him with a guy that'll never leave and they can max out with each other in year 5.
I'm surprised, bro. What's Brian Flores, bro? Why is this man's?
He's a little abrasive, and he's getting blackballed because he sued the NFL because he actually called them out for tanking, and I'd say that's probably all there is to it. He's no doubt,
Oh yeah,
no,
he's on the Dolphins.
no doubt the greatest defensive mind on the market right now, I would say, and has been a head coach before. Just abrasive, you know. Can he play the politics? Doesn't seem like it.
That's why I wonder with the whole Brian Dable thing. If you want to get to that topic soon.
Yeah, and we will, and we are kind of spending the rest of this talking about